Can we end coercion but keep the NHS? Hello, my name's Matthew. I'm from a project called the Nations of Sanity Project, which is based on the assertion that crime, and therefore also law, can and should be defined by the concept of individual self-ownership and established as the terms of a peace agreement. Now, this principle, the non-aggression principle, or NAP for short, is a principle that, if established as law, would abolish all coercive institutions, including ruling governments. And now the implications for this is organisations and institutions that are currently funded by taxation would have to be funded through voluntary alternatives to taxation. People would no longer be forced to pay for anything that they don't want to fund. Now, the implications for something like the NHS, which is the National Health Service here in the UK, which provides free at the point of use healthcare, is that, like other institutions that are currently funded through taxation and controlled by government, this is something that would have to basically be funded through voluntary means. Now, there's lots of ways in which we can do this, but the fundamental point is we don't need to lose these institutions just because we're removing the coercion from them. Just like the saying of we don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, we don't need to throw out all of our institutions just because we're washing away the coercion that currently corrupts them. In fact, not only do we not need to throw them away, but if we keep them, then after removing coercion, then these institutions will be stronger for it, because rather than standing and being funded by people who are forced to fund them, which pretty much guarantees the mismanagement, corruption, bureaucracies and inefficiencies that we see today in the NHS and pretty much all of the government-controlled institutions, including government itself as a whole, if we remove the coercion, then these institutions will have to stand on merit. This is the free market principles of meritocracy, where if something is wanted and needed, then it will exist because people will fund it. It doesn't have to be done through a standard profit-driven model. It can be done through collectives like we have today, but the difference is people would have the choice whether they want to be part of those collectives. And the reason why this is important is because when people have that choice, they have the power to demand certain standards from the institutions and the services that they are funding. And if those institutions and services become so corrupt that they fail to meet those standards, then people have the power to remove their support. And this is something that's important for any kind of collective that we want to establish, whether it's new ones we want to create or whether it's old ones that we want to hold on to once we transition from our current coercive society into a free society. So that's something that I want people to think hard about. We don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and that's an important part of the solution that the Nations of Sanity Project presents. We can wash away the coercion and keep the baby. We can remove the coercion from our society and keep a free society with institutions that will be stronger for it. So thank you for listening. If you have any further questions or if you want to find out more about this project, you can visit thenationsofsanity.com, or you can see more information from videos on the Nations of Sanity YouTube channel. I think this is an important idea that could really change the world positively, but it needs people to come together, scrutinise and support it in any way they can. Thank you.